Welcome to the second edition of my Farming in Ark video. In this video, I'm going to set up a very simple farm and show you the basics of how to get your own farm up and running quickly and easily. The first thing you're actually going to need, even before you get to actually building the farm, is a compost bin to make some fertilizer, because without the compost bin and proper fertilizer, you will find farming quite the headache. So I'm going to place the compost bin right now, and I'll just pop that down right there. And in the compost bin, you'll want to place a stack of thatch. It's got to be in units of 50 or 100. And you need to know your droppings. Trying to find a nice way to put that. So let's take a look at the large nugget. Don't hit use item, you can eat that. So that's what the large nugget looks like. And you'll get more fertilizer out of it than you will out of the smaller nuggets. And the medium nugget, I'm so used to using food in my inventory, I'm afraid I'm going to misclick. Looks like that. It's noticeably smaller compared to the large one. And then you have the small nugget, which obviously is very much smaller. It takes a lot of those to make a bag of fertilizer. And then you have the smallest little nugget of them all, which you and your tribe mates will probably drop quite often and completely at random. And hello, nugget. It must have despawned the moment it hit the ground. I did drop it, right? Yeah, I dropped it. Oh, there we go. There's the smallest nugget of them all. It takes quite a few of those to actually get anywhere. So let's load up our compost bin. You're best off with the large ones because you will get more fertilizer out of those than any of the others. And apparently I have some spare nuggets, and oh, they're all gonna time out pretty soon. Okay, so I'll just throw one more large nugget in there. You will want more than one compost bin. One is a decent start. You'll probably want to wait until you have a couple bags of fertilizer per crop plot that you want to grow. Now, you'll also need water. The easiest way is if you're near water, you can just drop a water intake pipe into the ground, and from there you'll get your water. If you do not have any water near you, that makes your life a little more complicated, but it's not a big problem, because what you can do is install water reservoirs, and then you should wait for those to fill up. I'll show you those in just a minute here. First I want to install that, like so. And then I need a straight piece. Now the fertilizer creation process is slow, so you'll definitely want to get a head start on it. And like I say, you probably want to actually have, I have, I think, 9 compost bins running. So one will probably produce for me, each 50 thatch with enough nuggets can produce 1 bag of fertilizer. Now I could probably get away with removing one of the large nuggets and putting in more thatch, but I tend to just throw in 1 stack of thatch, and then from there I just load it up with nuggets. And I'm just going to install my piping. Now your piping cannot be too close atop the crop plot, or you're going to have trouble with accessing the crop, and ultimately you won't be able to replant it because it'll say that it's obstructed. But on the other side, if you end up with your pipes and your taps too high, you won't be able to water your crops because the tap will be too far away. I'll just install that now. And these taps don't have an off position. If there's water, they keep running. So don't be surprised if your water never stops running, and do be worried if it does, because obviously you have a serious problem in your water system. Now, as far as the reservoir goes, let's see if I have room to install it. You'll need more than one of these as well. One is not enough, period, end of story. You need more than one. And they only fill, well, they'll fill from the water intake, but if you don't have a water intake because of where you're building, they will fill from rainwater, but it takes a little bit of time. You'll want at least 4 to 8 of those. And I'll install the crop plots. Now, there is a trick to the crop plots in that you can actually put water skins, canteens, water jars, any of those water containers inside the crop plot. Click on it and then say remote use. You'll have a little button, and I'll actually show you that in a minute. First, I'm going to lay out my crop plots. Now, the small crop plots, I don't really find a big difference between them, except that your normal berries you can grow on the small one, like that. If you want to grow vegetables, as they call them, such as citronella, rocarot, savroot, and what's the third one? Long grass. If you want to grow those, you will actually need the medium-sized crop plot, which is right here. And if you want to grow something like plant species X, you'll need the large crop plot. Now, I haven't really noticed, like, if you use a bigger crop plot than you need, it does work, but I have not really seen any big advantage to using a larger crop plot than you need, other than you burn a lot more resources crafting it and you get a lot more experience for the crafting. They don't seem to have a higher capacity. You don't seem to get faster harvesting out of them. And I will just quickly grab my fertilizer, which I may have forgotten. And I am pretty close to water, that is why I'm able to tap the groundwater like that. And yeah, I brought lots of fertilizer. Did I think to bring my seeds? Be really cool if I did. Well, I got species X. I will be doing a video for species X, including where to find it, how to grow it, how to configure it, and how to maintain it. But that is one of those videos that is a complete one in and of itself. What I'm going to do is just load this guy up. I'll start with 2 in each. If you run out of fertilizer in a crop plot, your plants will die. And it is possible that you could lose your seed as well. If you're desperate and you don't have any fertilizer made, you can drop nuggets straight in, and that will provide very, very little fertilizer, but maybe enough to get you by until you can actually make proper fertilizer. And I just want to get an even number in each. And I think after that, I'm going to have to give this a quick cut and run to get some seeds, because I have this feeling I was not thinking and I forgot them. I went and made the reservoir, but I completely forgot to get the seeds. Now there is one big difference. I'll just correct myself now. There's 200 water that is held in the small crop plot. There is 400 water held in the medium crop plot, and the large holds 600. And those do fill with rain. So actually, the large crop plots in an area where you don't have access to a direct water pipe, if you use the large crop plots, they will fill up and hold a heck of a lot more water when it rains. And these reservoirs, at least the stone one, only holds 200. The metal one is higher capacity. And I will just show you quickly how you can, in case you don't know how these guys work, you just put your water skin in, it fills up, you pull it out, and you can just hit E to drink straight from the tap. And then you'd throw it in just like that, click on it and hit remote use, and its water would be added. So there is that as a way of watering these as well. It does work, but you got to keep an eye on it, because if you run out of water, the crop will die. And I am going to cut right here real quick and run and grab my seeds. I'll be right back. And I'm back. There was a good rainstorm with a bit of fog while I was off grabbing those seeds. So it was actually a great time to turn around and have to take a quick break, because the weather got really bad, visibility went down, and now I can show you how these go in. It's actually really simple, and you only need one seed. You pop it in, and after a few seconds the seed vanishes and a little plant may or may not appear. Technically the plant is there even if you don't see it, but yeah, it's one of those little bug things in the early access that, yeah, it says there's a seedling in there and I do not see it. Okay, and this is the large crop plot. So far I've only planted narco berry, and this one I'm going to put rockarot, which is the Ark carrot. The vegetables are used, well, there is a fruit amongst the vegetables, which is the citronal. I think I pronounced that right. Oh. Narco. Rockarot. Good, I did get one of those down. At this point in the early access, all the plants look the same, except for the vegetables. The rockarot, savroot, long grass, and citronal. Each one of those does look different, so you'll be able to tell the difference between those. But the rest of your plants, you'll actually have to take a good look and see what it says. Now, they go through the stage of seedling, middling, then I believe the next is fruiting. And once they start fruiting, you'll be able to open the crop plot, and in there you'll see possibly another little seed, and you'll see some either vegetables or fruits in there. If it's narco berries, you'll start getting narco berries. Now, I've never seen a crop plot hold more than 3 stacks of berries or vegetables at a time. It seems that the decomposition rate of the veggies or berries versus the spawn rate of the actual vegetables and berries evens out once you get about 3 stacks. It holds steady as long as you have enough fertilizer and water. So if you actually want to get a stockpile, you'll have to put them in a fridge or in a preserving bin. And like I say, if you are planning on putting them in a farm, get yourself at least a couple compost bins and get yourself a good supply of fertilizer stocked up. Also note that even if you open this up and you see 3 stacks of berries and you still got a bucket of fertilizer in there, as soon as you pull those 3 stacks of berries out, it seems like it starts to use a mountain of fertilizer while it produces more berries. And of course my torch broke, but it's daytime, I don't need it anyway. But that is to say, make sure you have a lot of extra fertilizer, and if you're in a place without water, get in at least 4, maybe 8 reservoirs of the stone. The metal holds more, but you don't want to run out of water and lose your crops. Now, the vegetables at this time are only used in the Rockwell recipes. You can use them in custom recipes as well, but they're primarily used in the Rockwell recipes. If you don't know what those are, they're about the equivalent, the Ark equivalent of magic potions or power-ups. And like, for example, there's the Lazarus Chowder. You can hold your breath longer underwater. There's one that allows you to resist fire. There's one that allows you to resist cold. Well, not fire, but heat. So that's for like the cave exploring. You can go into the really hot caves and be protected from the heat. You can go into the really cold areas, including the snow biome, and be protected from the cold. There's health potions, there's stamina potions. Well, they call them brews. I believe it's energy brew and health brew, or medical brew and energy brew. There's links in the description of the video to a list of the various Rockwell recipes that you can make, as well as a list of the complete guide that I've written for Ark farming, as well as my Ark guide itself. So please make sure you check that out if you're having any troubles or have any questions, because I've got a ton of information there for you, including links to various customization tools that'll allow you to make quick tweaks to the configuration files for Ark to adjust farming, the growth rates, spoiling rates, and a whole ton of other settings as well, all explained with simple to use tools and all the information in case you want to do that scripting by hand. So what will happen is it takes at least 4 human hours to get fertilizer, and it takes a good while to actually get these things fruiting. Now, once they start fruiting and you've got a full 3 stacks inside, if you take all 3 stacks out, you can go back 30 minutes later and discover there's a few berries in there. They don't grow fast, but they do start to trickle in. So what I am going to do now is take a really quick cut, and I will go to my main garden and show you what these plants look like at full size, assuming I haven't forgot to water and fertilize. So I'll be back in just a second. And here is my farm that's got everything fully grown. We have the amberberries, the azule berries, medjow berries, tinto berries, stem berries, and along the back here, all of those little crop plots are narco berries. I make a lot of narcotics for taming. As you can probably see, I've got a few friends. Here's a large crop plot with narco berries. This is what the citronelle looks like full grown. And this is what the long grass looks like. Basically Ark corn, and that's basically, I don't know, oranges, peaches. The Ark potato, which is savroot. Tell me that doesn't look like a potato of some form. And the rock-a-rot, which clearly looks like a carrot. And even here it looks even more like a carrot. And for those of you going to install on a platform, that is a raft underneath all of that metal. Now, plant species X, once it's fully grown, does not need to be watered, which I found out after I installed the sail under sprinkler system. But if you install other plants on a platform, you may want to put a sprinkler system, because at this time you cannot put pipes, you cannot put a reservoir, you cannot put water intake. You rely on rainwater, watering it by water jar, canteen, water skin, or pass under sprinkler system. If you do not have access immediately to running water, for example, the intake pipe I showed you at the other garden, large crop plots so that you can hold enough water to tide you over, and keep a close eye on it. So I think that about covers it. As you can see, I do have a mountain of these taps. You do not need nearly that many. If resources are short and you don't want to have to craft 50 taps, craft a tap, install it. Check your crop plots. Are they all watered? You'll see how far apart your taps need to be to irrigate all your crop plots. Just install the taps one by one, make sure everything's irrigated, and you should be good to go. Also note that when you first install your crop plots, if you're not using running water, if you're relying on a reservoir, those reservoirs only hold a certain amount of water, and each crop plot holds 200, 400, or 600 units of water. So your water reserves will drain very rapidly trying to fill those crop plots, although they and your water reservoirs will fill pretty much in a matter of minutes if it rains. So make sure your crop plots are full of water and your reservoirs are full of water and fertilizer before you start popping in your seeds. And I think that about covers it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. On this YouTube channel, I update my videos when either I have an update for my guides or I publish a new guide. So the updates come when they come. If you'd like, you can like the video, subscribe. I will be posting a new YouTube channel soon that will have daily and weekly video series. So I hope this has been helpful, and I will catch you again soon. You have a great day. Bye-bye.